Hello, we are seeing about the operating system video series in the past few set of videos, and here we are going to switch on into a new topic, and I have given a clue in the slide. Can you guess what is the topic about what we are going to discuss? Yes, I have given some scheduled in time in a Google Calendar, and in another side, in the left hand side, I have given some of the works which is assigned in a serial manner after this completion, next. So likewise I have given. So I hope you can guess the topic about is the process scheduling. So generally, a scheduling is needed whenever we are having several jobs at a time, which we have to process one by one. So there comes the necessity of the scheduling. Likewise, in operating system, when the processes are competing for the resources in the CPU, there we need the scheduling of the processes by the operating system. So that topic is called as the process scheduling. So let's go in depth about this process scheduling. And now let me introduce myself as Dr. V. Savita, who is working as an associate professor at SNS College of Technology. And now we are going to discuss about the process scheduling and synchronization. In that, we are going to see about the introduction to the scheduling algorithms and what are the basic criteria for designing this scheduling. Okay, so let's have a short outline of what we are going to discuss in this video, and let's take this in a DT based presentation. And here I have given in the empathize part as why operating system is being taken in the second year for the students. So I hope I have discussed this topic previously in my video. As we are progressing from the C, after that we have to learn about the system software, and thereby now we are learning in this operating system, and now we have to discuss why we are going to see the scheduling. So that is the necessity over here, because we have completed all the introduction of the functions of the operating system along with the CPU, and related to that memory management, how this operating system is functioning along with the hardware and the software. And now this is a time to look on into how the processes are scheduled in order to assign with the CPU resources. Okay, so this is my problem what I have and how to solve this. So I have to first define what is my exact problem. So my problem is I have to identify what is the criteria for the scheduling, and I have to identify what are all the various ways to optimize this criteria such that I can able to get the best optimized output or the scheduling such that all process are being scheduled in a fair manner. And now coming on to the ideate part, I have several solutions. For example, let me take the types of scheduling as first come first serve scheduling, shortest job scheduling, priority scheduling, and round robin scheduling, multiple processor feedback queue scheduling. So these are all the available options. Now I have to decide which algorithm will produce the optimized result for my scheduling. So let's get into this topic and learn about what are the various criteria for scheduling first. We have discussed all these topic about, and let me move on to the next topic. Yes, fine. So coming to this objective of process scheduling, and here the concept goes as whenever there is a CPU scheduling algorithm is given, the purpose of this is we have to determine which process will be executed by the CPU at a particular moment. And there may be some cases where the CPU has to retain the process, or the CPU has to switch on the process such that when a high priority process enters into the queue. So this is the basic concept of scheduling. And now I'll define the problem exactly what we are going to do in this process scheduling, which I have given clearly. The objective of the CPU scheduling is we have to make sure that the operating system schedules the CPU such a way the CPU should not be idle at any moment, and it has at least one process to be executed at a particular moment. So that is very very important over the objective of the process scheduling. And now we'll enter into this scheduling criteria, which is very, very important. Before entering into the various types of scheduling, I have to decide what are the criteria needed in order to find the optimized solution. So first and foremost thing is the CPU utilization. So where it means that how far the CPU is utilized for the execution of the process. I have to say, I have to keep my CPU always busy. Definitely. So always keep the CPU utilized every time, such that every time there is a process to get scheduled and executed. The next one is the throughput. When the CPU utilization is high, obviously the throughput is also going to be high. So how many processes are executed at a particular moment is defined by the throughput. Then comes the turnaround time. So this time is taken with amount of time taken for executing a particular process. And next comes the waiting time. So we may be waiting in a ready queue for getting the CPU for execution. So what is that time for waiting inside the queue? That is always termed as the waiting time. So this differs for every process in the ready queue. And last one is the response time. So response time means that when you are submitting a job to the CPU, whenever the first response or the first output is coming out of the CPU, that time is called as the response time. Next, we'll move on to the optimization criteria. So the optimization means how we are going to identify which algorithm works best. So definitely, if an algorithm is found to be an best one, it must produce the optimized output. Those optimized output are being taken as first one, the CPU utilization should be maximum, thereby the throughput also should be maximum. But when you consider with the time factors, the time should be minimum turnaround time, minimum waiting time, and minimum response time. So these are all the factors which gives you the optimized criteria for the scheduling, and thus through this criteria I can decide which algorithm works better or the best in the list of algorithms. Thank you.